What's up guys, my name is Ace, and today I wanted to do a relatively laid back commentary just talking about what I feel is missing in Infinite Warfare. So far I think they've been doing a great job at adding features as we go, even though I feel like some of those features maybe should have been there at the beginning of the game, but I want to focus on the things that I would still like to see. Let's get into it. Alright guys, so a few of these things I have mentioned in previous videos and on streams and everything, but I wanted to compile it all into one video here. And the number one thing, this is the most important thing, I'm going to get it out of the way right at the beginning of the video. The number one thing I want added to this game is a disabled DLC button. In my mind, this is going to be absolutely vital in keeping this game alive throughout the rest of the year, especially once we get into that second, third, and fourth DLC. For those of you guys that have bought DLC in the previous years, you probably started to notice a decline in the connections as well as your matchmaking time. And the reason for this is the game is trying to match you up with people that have the same DLC as you, so there's no interruption, nobody's getting kicked from lobbies if they don't have the proper DLC. So right from the beginning, as you're searching for a match, it's going to try to find people that have the same DLC as you. The problem with this is that's generally a smaller pool of players, and if you're playing in like off-peak hours, or if you're playing a game mode that doesn't have a really high population, it's going to take you longer to find a match. And since you're going to be connecting to a smaller pool, that increases the odds that you're not going to have the absolute ideal connection experience. Now, of course, they can balance this, and I think so far they've balanced this to the point where it's going to first try to put you in a match with people that have the same DLC as you, and then if that doesn't work out, then it will just put you in a regular match with non-DLC owners. The problem with this is I often run into dead lobbies. When I do get into a lobby that clearly is a DLC lobby where I'm playing with other people that have DLC, oftentimes, like after the game, a few people will leave and it just won't repopulate. Or even in the middle of a game, some people will rage quit or something and it doesn't fill back up. Or a lot of the times, I know full well that I'm going to be playing off-peak hours or I'm going to be playing a game mode like Hardpoint, which is already hard to find a match. Why not give me the option to disable that and maximize my search times as well as my potential pool of players that I'm connecting to? Modern Warfare 3 had it and it worked out great. Why can't we have it in modern Call of Duty games? So that disabled DLC button, that is the number one feature I want them to add to this game. Honestly, if they did nothing else on the list that I'm going to be talking about from here on out, but they did do this disabled DLC button, I'd still be pretty happy because it's the kind of thing that's going to prevent the death of this game months down the road. Getting into the second feature that I'd love to see added, this is a group feature or a network sort of feature. Black Ops 3 added it, I think it was right around this time in its life cycle, maybe a little bit later in the life cycle. But Black Ops 3 added it, and I absolutely loved it. Now, I might be a little bit biased as a YouTuber because it's extremely handy for us YouTubers to have this because we can connect with our audience and actually play with them without having to accept tons and tons, like thousands of friend requests. Everybody can just join that group and we can draw players from that group that want to come play with us. So that is a feature that I would love to see implemented. I don't know if we're going to see it. It's something I think that would require a lot more time and energy than something like a disabled DLC button. And if they aren't already working on it, then I'm not too sure if it's ever going to happen. But it is something that I would love to see added. Next up, I would love to see some sort of a contract-like system. Basically something along the lines of daily and weekly and maybe even monthly challenges where you have to complete very specific things in order to unlock either keys or salvage. That would be a much better incentive to log in and play every day than just our daily login bonus alone. This is the type of thing going forward that I think would be very important in extending the life cycle of the game. Again, we're going back to Black Ops 3 with this. Black Ops 3 added this relatively late in their life cycle, but it was something that brought a lot of life into the game immediately. As soon as they added that, I wanted to log in every single day and get my daily or my weekly challenges done. And I really liked that these challenges often forced a little bit of variety as well, or encouraged variety, maybe not forced. You never had to do the challenges, but if you wanted to do those, then a lot of times it would force you to use something that you might not have used otherwise. And it's always nice to see that variety in game as well. And overall, I just really like the fact that it brought a lot of life into the game. So do I think we're going to see this anytime in the super near future with Infinite Warfare? No, probably not. But even if it was like a couple months down the road, I would love to see this added. Moving on to the next thing, this might seem really nitpicky and really minor, but I feel it would actually have a fairly large impact on the game, and as far as I'm aware, this is something that could be changed with very little effort. This is boost the headshot sound. Either create a whole new sound file that sounds a whole lot better than the current headshot sound, or just simply boost the volume on the current headshot sound, and I'm sure you'd make a lot of people very happy. Like I said, it might seem so minor, but I went back and played Black Ops 3 last week on stream, and every time I hit a headshot in that game, I felt that release of dopamine in my system. Like, it actually plays such a big role in your kill satisfaction, especially when you're grinding for those headshot camos. I think this is just such a minor change that would make a very noticeable difference, and I'm sure the majority of the community is on board with this. So getting into the last thing I'm going to be mentioning in today's video as far as what I feel is missing from this game, this one is probably not quite as realistic as some of the other changes that were made, but it's something that I feel really needs to be mentioned. We need something better for competitive. Now, I don't expect them to add a complete league play system at this point in the game's lifecycle. I think that's maybe a bit too much to expect, but just something more for the competitive players. I think they mentioned a long time ago on a live stream or somewhere, they mentioned something about the possibility of game battles integration. I think this feature would be excellent for those competitive players. Now, to be completely honest, I am not really into the competitive scene, so for me personally, this wouldn't really affect me too much, but I do realize there is that group of competitive players, and I feel like they don't really have the systems in place that are built into the game that they should have. That's just my personal opinion. I think they took a big step backwards when it comes to competitive this year, and I'd like to see some more support for those guys. So there we have it. That's going to wrap it up for the list I wanted to talk about today for the things that I feel are missing in Infinite Warfare. Obviously, I could probably come up with a few more things, but these are the top features that came to my mind. I'd love to know in the comment section below, and by the way, I'd love it if you guys could stay constructive in the comment section below. What features would you like to be added, or what things would you like to be changed in Infinite Warfare that could realistically be changed at this point in the life cycle? If you enjoyed the video, a like rating is always appreciated, and don't forget to subscribe for more if you haven't already. I'll talk to you guys next time.